People are jacked about this. Everybody on Facebook, so excited. The man, Nick Offerman, is on the phone. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How you doing?
Fantastic. Very excited to talk to you. A lot of people know you as Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec, and we will get to that. But first, today, We're the Millers opens in theaters. 12/10 at Shiloh 14 here in Billings is the first chance to see it in theaters here in Billings anyway. But the movie is, some people are claiming, the funniest movie in the history of motion pictures. True or false?
Well, those people probably haven't seen Miss Congeniality 2, Armed and Fabulous. But We're the Millers is a close second. It is incredibly funny. I went just 2 nights ago. I finally saw it with my wife, and we were just rolling in the aisles. It is wickedly funny.
That is awesome. I mean, it looks hilarious. The thing for me is, there's so many comedy movies and that come out all the time. The way to tell if it's going to be a good movie is the cast. That's usually what I look to is, you're not going to get great people to sign on to something that's crap. So the fact that this has so many great, hilarious people in it, obviously it's got to be solid. Yesterday, we talked to Luis Guzman, and I asked him if he had any stories about you, if you what your pants on the set or anything, and he said if you did it discreetly because he did not notice. So we got no dirt from Luis about you on the film.
Well, I'm 43 years old. If I can't surreptitiously spread urine down my leg and still keep working, then I don't deserve to be in the business.
You should retire now if that's the case. In the movie, you're married to Catherine Hahn, who we've had on the show multiple times, and I've tried to marry, and she unfortunately brings up the whole pesky husband thing every time I try to marry her, but isn't she just an awesome lady?
She is honestly like a volcano of comedy. I've had the pleasure of knowing her, and she's come and worked on Parks and Rec quite a bit. And she couldn't be nicer. She grew up in Cleveland, and she's just the salt of the earth who happens to be an insane comedy machine.
Yeah, that's what I think, too. Just such a lovable, likable, awesome, fun-to-watch lady. So I love that she's getting so much work. It's just that makes me happy for her. But also, people that, have been struggling and not getting a lot of work, like that little-known actress Jennifer Aniston. She's in the film as well. How was she? Yeah. How was she to work with?
She, I've worked in the past with Sandra Bullock, and Jennifer really reminded me of Sandy in that she's just the greatest lady. Like you would just as soon go out and shoot some basketball with her as you would go out to a nice dinner. She is just really down to earth and an incredible professional, and is so funny that she makes it look incredibly easy. Like, I would not have guessed how amazing she is until I was next to her working in a scene, and I was like, "Oh, she's very subtle. She's very naturalistic," and she was really cracking me up every day we worked together.
That's good. I mean, that's good to hear because you never really know what she's really like. It could be just great directing that makes her look funny, but it's nice to hear that she's actually legitimately funny, and it's good to know that you're clearly married, since you said that you would just as much want to go shoot baskets with Jennifer Aniston as go to a nice dinner. I'm thinking about Jennifer Aniston, and I can come up with a lot of better ideas of things to do aside from play basketball. But
well, that's your prerogative. But I can say, Jason Sudeikis is a genius. Really kills in this movie. It's a wonderful vehicle for him, and Jennifer together with Jason, they do a bunch of stuff that I wasn't aware of in scenes I wasn't there for the filming of. That just really knocked me down. There's a couple of set pieces that people are going to really remember.
That's awesome. We just got somebody that went to the early showing of it last night and says that it was hilarious. So it's not just people in the film saying how funny it is. Real life people from here in Billings also agreeing that it's good. Somebody would like to know if you mold your entire life after the Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness.
Not my entire life. like any set of rules, that's set before us to pick and choose as we see fit.
Okay, so you use some, and are you really the character Ron Swanson? How much of Nick Offerman is in Ron Swanson? I mean, I know little pieces like the woodworking. You like that in real life. They kind of incorporated that into the character. Is there a lot of Nick in Ron, or is most of it a character?
What they do is take pieces of my personality, like my love of bacon or my tendency to speak slowly and simply, and they write it large. They hold a magnifying glass over it to the point of comedy. But Ron is the creation of some much smarter men and women than myself, so I'm not nearly as entertaining as Ron. I think I'm probably pretty boring.
Okay, so you're not going to take full credit for that. That's very, very generous of you. Any word on that? What's happening? Do you know if Parks and Rec is going to continue are you anticipating a long run there? Are you just having fun while it lasts? Are you worried about that? I mean, what's your attitude, on working on a network show like that?
Well, you can't really worry about it these days. The climate of network television is rather fraught, with all of the new ways to broadcast shows online and with all the different cable channels. It's always a question every year if not only if our show is going to come back, we're always curious to see if NBC will be back next year. And and so we just feel lucky every time we get another season. We're really grateful to NBC for keeping us around because we don't do crazy gangbuster numbers. It's the greatest job I've ever had, and I'm sure I ever will have. So I'll be happy as a clam to stick with it as long as they'll have me. And I sure hope we get a few more years out of it.
That's good. I mean, I do too. I think obviously anybody that's a fan of comedy and enjoys that show probably is wondering the same thing. This is a question I've got for you. You're listed in the future here as being a part of the film Night of Cups with Christian Bale and Natalie Portman and Cate Blanchett. Seems like an odd pairing there in that film. Are you really a part of that? Can you tell us anything about that?
Whatever part they include of the one day I worked on it won't be a very big piece of work. I think it's only because of the modern the age of IMDb and online information that's the only way people would even know I was in it, because I've got a pretty small part, but I was just tickled pink to get to work with Christian and Terrence Malick, the great director.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a cool, especially, coming from the comedy world, it's always kind of nice when they throw you in one of those projects that's a little out of the, normal wheelhouse people see you in, a little different change, and that's got to be cool. And then Lego Movie, you're doing a voice in the Lego Movie. That seems a little more up your alley. A lot of other, very funny people tied onto that one as well.
Well, I actually, people know me from, obviously, Parks and Rec the most, but I'm actually classically trained. I come from the world of theater, so in my life I've done probably more dramatic work than comedy, actually. But I did have a gas in the Lego Movie. That thing is going to be really hilarious, and it's got an astonishing cast. Morgan Freeman and my friend Chris Pratt plays the lead. Will Arnett is the voice of Batman. It's really going to be great.
That's a killer cast. I can't wait for that one. But what we're talking about now is, first of all, you got to check out We're the Millers. It's out today. You can see it. Very, very funny movie. Jason Sudeikis, hilarious. Ed Helms, Jennifer Aniston, Emma Roberts, Luis Guzman. We talked to yesterday. Catherine Hahn, of course, Mr. Nick Offerman. And you can also check him out, of course, as Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec. Before we go, any advice for the people of Billings, Nick?
I would invite you all to say please and thank you as much as possible today. And as always, paddle your own canoe.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nick Offerman. It's been a pleasure. You were great to talk to. Thanks for taking the time, and best of luck with everything, sir. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.